Hey everyone, right now we're in the Rocky Mountains on Squaw Pass Road, and we're heading to the Mount Evans Road. Now, Mount Evans Road travels to the top of Mount Evans, of course, at over 14,000 feet, and it's the highest paved road in North America. Now, to drive on the road, you do need a reservation in advance. We're heading towards the entrance station right now, and I'll put a link in the description of how you can get a reservation to drive the Mount Evans Road. But let's go on the highest paved road in North America. The Mount Evans Road from the entrance station to the top is 14.4 miles long and climbs to 14,130 feet in elevation. The road usually opens on Memorial Day in May and remains open through Labor Day. After Labor Day, the last 5 miles of the road are closed, and the full road closes in October. You do need an advance reservation in order to drive the road, and that includes a small fee. The Forest Service limits the number of cars that can go up the road at any time, but we had no trouble getting a reservation a couple of days before our trip. Longer vehicles and vehicles with trailers are not allowed on the road. Hello. Shield. Okay. And then here's the map for you. Right, thank you very much. Construction on the road to the top of Mount Evans began on July 22, 1923, and it opened to the public in June 1931. According to the Forest Service, when it opened, it was the highest road in the world. Now, I know the road keeps getting referred to as the highest paved road in North America. There's at least one dirt road that's higher than the Mount Evans Road. The road to White Mountain Peak in California beats Mount Evans Road by about 131 feet. That road is rough and gated towards the top, making Mount Evans the highest road in North America that the average person can drive, though. And if you're wondering what the highest paved road in the world is, that is Samo La in Tibet at an elevation of 18,258 feet. Our first stop on the Mount Evans Road is at the Mount Goliath Natural Area at 11,503 feet. Here you can find an interpretive center, some amazing views, and a small nature trail where you can see some bristlecone pines, some of the oldest trees in the world. The interpretive center at Mount Goliath is pretty nice, but the real treat here is the bristlecone trail. I love the way these trees look, and the views from here were amazing. The scenery along the entire drive is wonderful. Being high up in the mountains, the weather can change pretty quickly, but luckily for us, on the way up, it never really stayed cloudy for too long, so we were treated to some nice views. There are no guardrails along the road, and you do come close to some pretty big drop-offs. The road is also windy and somewhat narrow in places, but overall the road is in very good condition, and there are plenty of places for cars to pull off the road along the way. Now we're at Summit Lake Park at elevation 12,830 feet. This is a national natural landmark, and oddly enough, it's a City of Denver park, making it the highest city park in the country and the only Denver city park without any trees. The area around Summit Lake was acquired by the City of Denver in 1924 and was declared a national natural landmark in 1965. Summit Lake is the 13th highest lake in the United States. And here's Mount Evans, which we'll be driving to the top of shortly. Also at Summit Lake, you can find this stone shelter house, which was constructed by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1930s. On our drive up Mount Evans, we saw a number of large animals, including deer, bighorn sheep, and mountain goats. We also saw some smaller animals such as marmots and pika. It's funny because the bighorn sheep really wanted to lick cars. They were in the parking lots licking cars, and they would surround cars on the road. I googled, why do bighorn sheep lick cars? And the very first thing that came up said, don't let sheep lick cars. I had to laugh when I saw that because I was thinking, how the heck are you going to stop them? Especially with signs like these all over the place. After leaving Summit Lake, the last few miles of the road gets a little bit rougher and a lot windier. Pretty soon nobody will be able to drive up Mount Evans anymore. That's because there won't be a Mount Evans anymore. The mountain is scheduled to get a name change. The mountain is currently named for former Colorado Governor John Evans, but because of his connection to the Sand Creek Massacre, the name has been controversial and there's been a move to change it for some time. The name Mount Blue Sky was approved earlier this year, but that's currently pending state and federal review. I didn't think the switchbacks on this final stretch of the climb were that bad, but the speed limit was 20 miles per hour on this part of the road, and you could tell some cars were being a little extra cautious. I thought it was really cool to look back and see the road that you just climbed down below you. Now, after almost 14 and a half miles, we've about made it to the top of Mount Evans. Well, kind of. Alright, so we've made it to the top of the Mount Evans Road, the highest paved road in North America at 14,130 feet. Unfortunately, the road doesn't actually go to the top of Mount Evans, so we do have a little bit of a hike ahead of us because the actual peak for Mount Evans is right over here. You know, they don't advertise this fact, but this is the highest parking lot in the country. This trail going up to the top isn't too bad, but it does get a little bit rocky at times. We've made it to the top of Mount Evans, 14,258 feet. The hike up here wasn't very bad, but we are at elevation, so I am a little bit out of breath. And it's definitely a lot colder up here than it was when we started our drive. I think it was in the 80s, and up here it's in the 40s, and I have my sweatshirt on now. So now we're gonna look around here a little bit and then head back down and look around the parking area. Here's the Mount Evans summit marker. And here's a look down at Summit Lake, where we were at earlier. I read a review somewhere saying that Mount Evans is the highest peak with the second best views, meaning you get better views at Pikes Peak, which is just a little bit lower in elevation than here. But I haven't been to Pikes Peak since I was a kid, so I can't say for sure, but these views are pretty great. So we're hiking back down to the parking area, and now it started hailing. So we've made it back to the parking area, and the weather has definitely taken a turn for the worst. It is hailing like crazy right now, and I am just getting pelted with hail. While everyone else runs for their car, we're gonna head over to the Crest House. Next to the parking lot are the ruins of the Crest House. Construction began on the Crest House in 1940, and it was built by Justice Rowling, who dreamed of constructing a castle in the sky for his girlfriend and future wife Edith. The building housed a restaurant, gift shop, restrooms, emergency oxygen, and an observation deck. When the building opened in 1941, it was said to be the highest structure in the world and was the highest business structure in the United States until its destruction in 1979. The building was destroyed on September 1st, 1979, when an employee of a propane company failed to secure a safety valve while filling a propane tank and a fire broke out. High winds and a lack of water nearby made fighting the fire impossible. So I'm trying to take a little bit of shelter in the Crest House right now, but it's not really working. Most people have run for cover, but I don't really mind the weather. Weather's one thing you can't control on a trip. And because the weather's always different, no matter how many times you go to a place, you get a unique experience. This sign on the observation deck is pretty ironic right now. A short walk from the Crest House is the Meyer-Womble Observatory, which is owned and operated by the University of Denver. When it opened in 1996, it was the highest observatory in the world. It's currently the third highest. So we're starting to hear some thunder, and the road back down is getting really wet, so we're gonna go ahead and head down now. So that's our look at the Mount Evans Road, the highest paved road in North America. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you next week.